Welcome to my channel Alien Signal. The first thing the Vraxian ambassador said to humanity was, "You are soft." He did not whisper it. He projected it across every diplomatic channel, translated into 12,000 languages, broadcast from Earth's orbit down to the oceans and up to the stations circling Mars. You have no natural weapons. No claws. No venom. No armor. Your teeth are flat. Your skin tears. You're young or helpless for years. By all measurable biological standards, you are weak. In the silence that followed, Earth did not respond with outrage. We responded with curiosity, because humanity had heard that before. Beginning, the assessment. The Vraxian Combine arrived in cathedral-shaped warships that bent sunlight around their hulls. They had crossed half the spiral arm, conquering or assimilating dozens of species. Their philosophy was brutally simple: dominance proved worth. Strength was truth. Survival was morality. They were massive beings, 8-limbed, plated in a chitinous exoskeleton harder than steel. Their jaws could shear through composite alloys. Their homeworld had birthed predators that hunted in oceans of methane and skies of corrosive vapor. The Vraxians had evolved not just to survive, but to devour. When they scanned humanity, they saw prey. Their ships hovered over our cities not as invaders, but as judges. They did not open fire. They opened negotiations. Your species has achieved faster than light communication but not faster than light travel, the ambassador stated. You build tools to compensate for your deficiencies. Admirable, but evolutionarily, you are fragile. Human diplomats listened carefully, and yet, the ambassador continued, you have spread across your system. You have weaponry capable of planetary devastation. This contradiction intrigues us. So why are you here? Asked Secretary General Amara Kincaid. To test a hypothesis, the ambassador replied. We believe your technological advancement is an anomaly. A statistical fluke. Remove your tools, and you would collapse before a true apex predator. Amara did not flinch. And how do you propose to test that? The ambassador's mandibles clicked in what passed for amusement. We will gift you one. 3 days later, the Vraxians released it into the Australian outback. It fell from orbit inside a containment meteor of Vraxian alloy, slamming into the red Earth with a shockwave that registered on seismographs across the continent. They called it a Karzal, the apex of their homeworld. It was 40 feet long, low to the ground, armored in overlapping obsidian plates. Its 4 primary limbs ended in hooked talons that could carve through reinforced concrete. A secondary set of limbs tucked beneath its torso allowed bursts of terrifying speed. Its head was a wedge of bone and teeth, lined with sensory pits that detected heat, motion, electrical activity. It did not roar. It simply moved. The first drone sent to observe it lasted 3 seconds. The Karzal leapt, caught it mid-air, and crushed it between its jaws. Around the world, billions watched through satellite feeds. The Vraxian ambassador addressed the United Nations. On our world, a single Karzal can eradicate settlements. Entire ecosystems collapse beneath them. We required centuries and tremendous sacrifice to master and contain our apex predator. You have 7 of your rotations. Or, Amara asked evenly, or we conclude that your survival has been luck. And luck is not a trait worth preserving. Middle, the hunt. Panic was humanity's first instinct. But it wasn't our strongest. Within hours, militaries mobilized. Fighter jets screamed over the outback. Autonomous tanks rolled across desert highways. Scientists, engineers, and biologists formed task forces in underground bunkers. The first strike came at dusk. A squadron of drones armed with bunker buster munitions targeted the Karzal as it tore through a herd of wild camels. The explosions turned night into day. Sand fused into glass. When the dust cleared, the creature rose from the crater. Wounded, burning, Angrier. It moved faster after that. Over the next 2 days, it carved a path of devastation across 200 kilometers. Armored vehicles were ripped open like tin cans. Missiles detonated against its hide, cracking plates but failing to penetrate deep enough. Every injury only seemed to refine its tactics. "It's learning," whispered Drive. Elias Navarro, evolutionary biologist. "Of course it is," Amara replied. "It's a predator." "Not just a predator," Elias corrected. "An apex predator from a death world. It evolved to counter resistance." On the 4th day, the Karzal ambushed an entire mechanized battalion in a narrow canyon. It baited them in, retreating, feigning weakness, then triggered a rockslide with its own bulk, burying half the unit before tearing through the rest. The footage circulated worldwide. The Vraxian ambassador spoke again. "Your machines fail you, as expected." Amara folded her hands. "We still have 3 days." "Yes," the ambassador agreed. "You do." That night, humanity changed tactics. Instead of more firepower, we sent chefs. It began as a joke in a military strategy meeting. A young logistics officer muttered, "At this rate, we should just figure out if it tastes good." The room went silent. "Doctor." Navarro slowly turned. "Wait." Within hours, the joke became a hypothesis. The Karzal was biological. It required calories. It metabolized organic matter at extreme efficiency to sustain its mass and regenerative capabilities. "What if," Navarro said, eyes alight, "we stop fighting it like soldiers, and start thinking like cooks?" They analyzed footage frame by frame. The way it hunted, the parts it consumed first, the organs it protected most fiercely during combat. Heat signatures revealed something critical. Beneath its armored plating, there were softer junctions, flex points near the limb joints and along the underside of its thorax. And its internal temperature ran extraordinarily high. "It's basically a walking convection oven," muttered one engineer. Humanity had faced megafauna before. On the savannas of Africa, our ancestors had not outrun predators. They had outthought them, driven them into traps, exhausted them, used fire not just as warmth, but as a weapon. We did not have claws. We had patience. On the 6th day, the Karzal found what appeared to be an abandoned mining facility. Its sensors detected power fluctuations inside. Movement. It circled once, twice. Then it entered. The doors sealed behind it. The entire structure was a trap, walls lined with thermal lures mimicking prey signatures. The corridors narrowed deliberately, guiding the creature toward the central chamber. When it realized the deception, it charged. That was when the floor gave way. The Karzal dropped into a pit 200 feet deep, reinforced with tungsten carbide mesh. It struck hard, shattering part of its own armor. Before it could leap out, jets ignited. Not explosive ordnance. Industrial plasma cutters. Superheated arcs lanced downward, targeting the flex joints Navarro had identified. The creature shrieked for the first time, a sound like tearing metal. It fought. It nearly climbed free. One limb broke through the mesh, talons scraping air. And then the second phase began. Liquid nitrogen flooded the chamber. The temperature swing was catastrophic. Its superheated metabolism turned against it. Armor plates cracked under thermal stress. Muscles seized. For 12 minutes, humanity held its breath. When the vapor cleared, the Karzal lay still. Ending the feast. The Vraxian ambassador was silent for a long time. "Is it dead?" he finally asked. Amara nodded. "Yes. You required your machines." "Of course we did," she replied. "We are tool users." The ambassador's mandibles twitched. "Then the test proves nothing." Amara smiled faintly. "Oh, it proves something." 2 days later, the Vraxians received an invitation. A broadcast signal from Earth. Curious, And perhaps unsettled, they accepted. The feed opened not to a military parade or a scientific laboratory, but to a vast open field at dusk. Long tables stretched across the grass. Humans gathered in thousands. Lights twinkled overhead. Music played softly. At the center stood an enormous grill rigged from industrial steel. Upon it lay sections of dark, plated meat. The ambassador's voice sharpened. "What is this?" "A barbecue," Amara said. "You preserved the carcass. We processed it," she corrected. "Your apex predator has fascinating muscle density. A bit tough at first, but slow cooking works wonders." As if on cue, a chef sliced into a steaming portion. The interior glistened, marbled in deep crimson and gold. Spices crusted the exterior. Humans cheered. "You revere strength," Amara continued. "You believe dominance is proven by killing what threatens you." She accepted a plate. "We believe dominance is proven by surviving it." She took a bite. Across the field, thousands did the same. "It's not enough for us to defeat the monster," she said after swallowing. "We incorporate it. We learn from it. We adapt." The ambassador's voice dropped to a whisper. "You consume your apex threats." "Yes." A long pause stretched between worlds. "On Vrax," the ambassador said slowly, "the Karzal is sacred. It embodies the chaos of our origin. To eat it would be unthinkable." Amara met the camera directly. "That's the difference between us." Behind her, children laughed as fireworks burst overhead. Scientists discussed improvements to the trap design over paper plates. Soldiers relaxed for the first time in a week. "We are not the strongest species in the galaxy," she said. "We never were. But strength isn't about claws or armor." She set down the plate. "It's about fire. It's about cooperation. It's about turning fear into fuel." The Vraxian ambassador considered this. "You are fragile," he said quietly. "Yes," Amara agreed. Individually, the feed shifted, images of cities rebuilding, of coordinated global effort, of billions united in a single purpose. "But together," she continued, "we're the species that looked at a death world predator and asked what temperature to cook it at." Silence. Then, something unexpected happened. The ambassador lowered his forelimbs, a gesture of respect. "The Combine withdraws its judgment," he declared. "Your species is formidable." The Vraxian ships began to turn from Earth orbit. Before the transmission ended, the ambassador added one final statement. "We would like a copy of your recipe." Amara allowed herself a full smile. "We'll send it." In the years that followed, humanity and the Vraxian Combine became unlikely allies. Cultural exchanges flourished. Joint expeditions explored uncharted systems. And on Vrax, for the first time in their history, a Karzal was hunted not as a sacred terror, but as cuisine. They called us weak. They were right. We are soft. We bleed. We break. But we are also the species that harnessed lightning, split the atom, and tamed fire. We are the species that turned the apex predator into dinner. And in the vast, cold dark of the galaxy, that was strength enough. Thank you for listening. Subscribe for more cinematic science fiction stories.